Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Now redubbed by Disney, or current Lucasfilm, whichever way you put it. Legends. So I have for you today a new trilogy that takes place after the expansive New Jedi Order. We have the next chapter in our adventure with a trilogy called the Darkness Trilogy, starting with Book 1, The Joiner King, by Troy Denning. So without spoilers, there is this bug-like race, sort of coming close to the Chiss border. And so there's a sort of border dispute going on with the Chiss and these bug people. We will learn more about them. They have some importance to the past and future, which I will discuss in spoilers. We get to see what's become of this new world since the defeat of the Yusong Vong. We get to see a bit what's going on with Jason. We get to see what's going on with Luke and Mara. Ben, who we only, heard about every once in a while in New Jedi Order. All of our friends are back. And the younger Jedi, like Jaina and Lobaka and Zek, they all get called out to this bug people place. And there's some weird stuff going on with R2-D2. He keeps kind of, maybe he's just really old and, gonna break down soon. We're gonna have to get a new droid because he's just having problems. Though he seems to be having something in his memory bank that he's not letting Luke see. What is that all about? I don't know. You'll have to read it to find out. Is it doing a zoom again? I hope not. But that is about it for non-spoilers. I don't want to tell you too much more than that. I have 2 more books to get through. All the reviews I've seen on YouTube, they're usually just all 3 packed into one. I'm trying to do them separately, so I don't have too much to talk about for this until I get into spoilers. That's about it. Hope you guys check out this book. I think it's really interesting. I think this trilogy is going to be a fun one. A nice little in-between before the next big, story arc. It's a nice little, in-between. Stuff goes on with Jason and, other characters, and I'm really excited to see the future of this stuff. Even though it's not going to be particularly happy stuff, I'm still excited to see it. But if you don't want spoilers, I'm going to get into spoilers. So it's time for everyone who has not read this book to leave. I'm going to get into spoilers. I will say without a doubt, it was a pretty interesting book. Not one of my favorites of all time, though there are aspects that I really, really, really love. And I'm excited to see more of it in this trilogy. So I hope you join me for that, and I'll see you next time. Now for those veterans, stick with me as we get into the spoilers of this book. This is probably going to be my shortest review ever, I think. I think I can actually manage that. It's going to be crazy. So, just for a reference point, this is 35 years after Episode 4. After A New Hope. And I'm kind of iffy. I'm not exactly sure what is meant by that. It's either been 6 to 7 years since the events of New Jedi Order with the Yusong Vong War. All the young Jedi, as I said, they feel the strong presence in the Force, and they feel like they need to go to it. Jason, and so does most of the other Jedi now, they don't, thanks to the events of the Unifying Force, they don't view the Force as light and dark anymore. They see it purely on action. What is your intent? But they don't see, they see the Force as more unifying, you might say, now than they did before. And now the Jedi have gotten involved with the Chiss border dispute with the, the younger Jedi. So now the older Jedi have to go in to see what's going on with that. What I found crazy is that I knew that Han was always older than Leia. But Luke and Leia are in their early 50s, and Han is 65 years old. So that's how far in the timeline we are, guys. We went from our Han Solo from the original movies to a 65-year-old man, and he's still kicking and still being pretty awesome. So that's pretty great. Little Ben. Ben, I'm sure we'll learn more about Ben as time goes on. I think he's an interesting little boy. I think he's different than Jaina or Jason or Anakin, so that's cool. He definitely seems to have the wonder of Luke, and yet the stubbornness of Leia. Or not Leia, sorry. Alternate timeline, where they never find out that they're brother and sister. I'm sorry. I met Mara. Mara Jade. Stubbornness of Mara Jade. I'm so sorry for that image. But yeah, he's interesting. I'm excited to see where they take him in the future. Brian Daly bug reference. So because this whole thing is, deals with the bugs and it deals with this like bug race, Hans never really liked the bug races, which I guess is a little racist, but he has a fair point. The bug races he has seen tend to be a little weird, and in the Brian Daly trilogy, he tried to calm this bug race into like, I don't remember exactly what it was they were trying to what he was trying to calm them into, but they thought either he was a god or stuff that he had was like from the gods, and so they're like freaking out. But I just thought it was really nice to have a Brian Daly reference here. There's a smuggler code apparently, like the rules of acquisition in Deep Space Nine of Star Trek. Because there's a Solston that kind of like joins the party for this book, and him and Hans are talking about like the smuggler's code. And I'm like, that's interesting. Rule number 6. I'm like, it sounds like the rules of acquisition from Deep Space Nine, and just made me smile. Oh, here's a big revelation for me, and for you guys already know this, but Raynar lived. In fact, Raynar did not die. The man I thought died in Star by Star did not die. He ended up becoming the king of these bug people, and not even being Raynarthal anymore, being Unithal, because he is one with the insects. It's interesting the role he plays in this, though. I was so surprised to see him still alive. But the bug race's name is the Killix. Also, here's something that'll be important for later, I think. And revelations for the past now. These bug things, they created the Killix. They created Centerpoint Station. The big station that was in the New Jedi Order that destroyed half of the Happen Fleet and then destroyed some of the Vong ships. The machine that was in the Corellian trilogy. What's also interesting is that these bugs talk about these weird beings called the Celestials. I don't remember Celestials being in Star Wars, but if it's what I think it is, they might be referring to the father, daughter, and son that we saw in the Clone Wars episode, the Mortis arc. And if that's the case, this is big time stuff that will be important for the Fate of the Jedi series. I won't get too much into that until we get closer to that, but rest assured, that's going to be a big arc. I don't know too much about that series other than the big bad, but I'll talk more about that when we get closer to that series. Jason is getting really powerful, and Mara notices it, because she's really good at like eavesdropping and like using the Force to like check out somebody without them even noticing. But Jason, he just kind of looks at her for a second and smiles, knowing what she's doing. Though she acts like, no, she didn't do it. But she finds it unnerving, because she's the best at that. And yet even he detected her. He's getting more and more powerful. And the next series will be interesting when we get to it. As of now, he's our wonderful Jason Solo. With a beard, by the way, which I imagined it being pretty cool. Not as raggedy as it was in Traitor, but a nice beard. Welk survived too. The freaking other guy that betrayed everyone else. He survived too. And he attacked Sabba-Satine. That was an amazing fight, by the way. There was a fight that him and her have, and it was super duper crazy. It was super duper crazy. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. That entire scene, oh my gosh, her freaking part of her head got chopped off, like a part of her skull. Oh, it was a crazy fight scene. Luke sees a scene from episode 3 where it's late at night. Padme comes out to talk to Anakin Skywalker, and he's talking about, he's worried about stuff because in his dreams he's seeing Padme die like he saw his mother die, which I think is directly from episode 3. There's a future thing we'll talk about in this book, which either it's from the movie or it's from the novelization that might have come out by that point, because it sounds familiar, but it also doesn't sound like something that might have come from the movie. So Kyle Katarn, video game character who has been mentioned before, but actually has a couple bit of speaking lines in this book, which is really cool. That's all I have to say. It's just Kyle Katarn finally having some sort of role in the series. So they don't talk about it too much, but they do mention how Jason Solo has learned a fascinating new Force technique called flow walking. And I wonder if that'll be explored in this series, or if that will wait until Legacy of the Force. What's also interesting is that he's able to basically kind of put his essence through time. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. He was visioning things that happened, but they actually saw him, which means that his sort of like Force Ghost, but he's still alive, was there in the past. It's really interesting. It's really weird, but it just really shows how powerful that Jason is getting. Tinoka plus Jason. Now, this is not how I wanted it at all. Tinoka and Jason, they very, very heavily seem to like each other in this book. And they even do the deed. We don't get to see it, but it is heavily implied that that's what they're going to do. Which I'm not very happy about. I want them to be husband and wife together. I don't want them to be having casual sex. I want them as a couple. But she's the queen of this planet. She can't do that. And so they're kind of just having this affair. I don't even know if he's still with Danny Kui. I'd imagine he's not, but I don't know. I never really particularly cared for Danny Kui, but I also don't want her to be cheated on. So I don't know. It made me really happy to see them act that way toward one another, because I read the Young Jedi Knight series and I always wanted them together, but having them together like that was a bit weird. It's I got what I wanted, but I also didn't, because it was not in the way that I had hoped for them to be together. So, and we'll see what big implications that leaves for later on in the series. Anyway, Leia versus Alema, the Twi'lek, that was a pretty awesome fight. We don't get to see Leia fight too often, so the fact that we got to see her full lightsaber fighting another person with a lightsaber was really, really cool. Of course, she was being influenced by the bug guys, the Twi'leks, but still. There's an entire council discussion, and of course I'm on Kip's side because he's Kip, and even Mara agrees with him, so you're oh, well, I would usually hate him, but no, because Mara agrees with him this time. Korn, who I also love, but I don't usually agree with him, but I love him. Kyle Katarn's there. They're all having this big discussion. It gets really heated. I don't know, I thought it was written very well, and I really enjoyed. I mean, I didn't enjoy it. I was I felt uncomfortable, but I enjoyed the discussion that they were having that got a bit heated. Leia and Luke. So again, R2-D2's acting weird. A scene pops up, and they finally learn their mother's name, Padme, which is really cool. The thing is, they have never got to know their mother. They knew nothing about her, really. And then we have that previous book, Tatooine's Ghost. Leia got to know her grandmother. She still didn't get to know her mother. So here they finally have a name. And a small scene with Obi-Wan Kenobi. and Padme, which might have been from the Episode 3 novelization, not the actual movie. I'm not sure, but still, it was nice. And they even described, even though Ewan McGregor does not sound exactly like Alec Guinness, but they still like, Han's like, I recognize that voice, and you're like, and then they're seeing prequel stuff. I love that kind of connection crap, man, and especially for Luke. He never got to know his mother. He never got to even like know what she looked like. So this is a big deal for them. Even though they're they're in their later ages in life, it's still a big deal to finally see their family like that. So I was really happy for them. And then last but not least for this particular book, Leia doesn't want to be a politician anymore. She doesn't want to be Han's sidekick anymore. She wants to finally earn her Jedi status. She wants to be trained by a master. Even though, she knows how to do Jedi stuff, but she really wants to start doing that. She really wants to take that next step in her life and fully become a Jedi like Luke and Mara and everyone else, which is really cool. So we'll see what happens with that in the next bit of this trilogy. Plus, like the rest of the series, and see what goes on with that. But really interesting. I'm excited to see further. All of it's interesting, but I have to say my favorite part is seeing Luke see the past. So I'm excited for more of that. I want more and more and more of that. So I'm excited for the next two. And I really like the excuse they're kind of giving for, like, it's been literally like 35 years since episode 4. Why hasn't R2-D2 ever shown this to Luke? And the reason is because since he never got his memory wiped, he has a complete personality, and he doesn't want Luke to see, because I think we'll get to see events from episode 3, like when he chokes the mother to death, Padme. She died of a broken heart. I think she died of not being able to breathe, okay? I think she kept on because she wanted to make sure her babies were born, and as soon as that happened, she died. Anyway, I'm sure he's going to see stuff like that. And I think R2-D2, as he says, he's just trying to protect him. He doesn't think he needs to see that. But Luke is a 50-year-old man. I think he can handle it. So, anyway, we'll see what happens with that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, sharing episode a ton. Don't forget to subscribe. Up next, we have the Joiner. We have the Darkness Trilogy, Book 2. I don't remember the name of it, but you'll see it whenever it comes up on YouTube. So, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.